Welcome to episode 15 of the Physique Formula podcast. I am your host, Phil. Real quick, if this is your first time listening, 5 minutes or less, I break down breaking news, research science to usable formats for you to become healthier. Instagram at official physique formula, physiqueformulasupplements.com with code PFPodcast20 at checkout. Save 20% on some all natural supplements. Guys, today's going to be a little different podcast. I'm going to talk about, from a performance nutritionist perspective, which is what I am, why the Dallas Mavericks just traded Luka Doncic to the Lakers. So it's shocking because Luka is 25. He's an MVP caliber player. He is a top 3 or 5 player. And there was no rumors of him being traded. They did move him to the Lakers for Anthony Davis, who is no scrub, who puts the Mavericks in title contention because he's better defensively than Luka, but we're not going to talk basketball. We're going to talk health and fitness. So there was an interesting tweet from Tim McMenamin, who is an Dallas Mavericks ESPN guy. And basically he said that the Mavericks were concerned about Luka's constant conditioning issues, which is NBA GM speak for he's out of shape, he doesn't work out, he doesn't eat well, and there are off the court lifestyle factors that we can't publicly talk about, but should things happen, they'll become publicly known. So if we break it down further, NBA pundits who are talking about it aren't going to deep dive into what Luke is doing or not doing. Ironically, his new teammate LeBron James, who is legendary for how he takes care of his body and performs at 40 years old, whether you saw the Netflix special or you've read articles about it. But just from my perspective, watching Luke over the past few seasons, you can see that he's gained body fat. He looks pudgy. He doesn't have this lean and sinewy look of an NBA player. And I'm not suggesting that he needs to be a bodybuilder. Tom Brady wasn't. Tom Brady didn't train like a bodybuilder, but Tom emphasized mobility, emphasized strength and conditioning. His diet was key. But when you look at it, it's not a knock on Luka at all. But there was a parallel rise in how he looked and missing time due to injury. And you can ask Christian McCaffrey. Luka's issues now are his calves. And when you look at McCaffrey, calf issues eventually lead to Achilles issues. That's just published data. But the issue with Luka, whether his off-the-court lifestyle, whether he doesn't have a lifestyle conducive for recovery, chronic low-grade inflammation is the root cause of all diseases and injury. A large percentage of injury prevention begins by reducing inflammation, by not eating inflammatory promoting foods, by having an anti-inflammatory practices in your lifestyle. Because when you look at inflammation, it plays a huge role in your body's ability to absorb nutrients or not. And inflammation factors into various different variables of physiology. Your body just has a hard time absorbing nutrients. You can't recover well. Elevated body fat is one of the ways that inflammation manifests. Internally, when you look at various inflammatory cytokines such as NF-kappa B, IL-6, all these different metabolic pathways are impacted by inflammation. And when you're not having anti-inflammatory practices in your lifestyle, when you're doing things like you have certain party habits, when you are eating high amounts of seed oils and gluten, when you're eating low doses, when you're not eating nutrient-dense foods, when you're not doing basic recovery strategies like omega-3 fish oil, getting quality sleep, consistent cold exposure, that is going to break your body down. When you look at the eye test, when you look at what the Mavericks said, you can see that conditioning was a big issue. The Mavericks definitely know something that we don't know, and it will likely come out in the next few days. But I just think this was a really interesting example of how you take care of yourself factors in. I think if he was 25, and he is 25, I think if he was doing 25% more, whether not partying as much, and I haven't heard anything about it, I know nothing about his lifestyle, this is just speculation, but maybe not partying as much, maybe showing up to more workouts, maybe coming in better shape early on. I think the Mavericks may not have traded him, may have given him that super max, but just interesting, guys. So Instagram at official physique formula, physiqueformulasupplements.com. Thank you for listening.